Hi there, viewers. Today, I'm joining a conversation with Carl Swart, the author of Playground of Destiny. It's a pleasure to have Carl on the show. Welcome on the show, Carl.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. And again, I'm happy about your book. So good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Carl, tell us about your book, Playground of Destiny. How does this book come about? I mean, what inspired this book?
Okay, let me show you the cover.
Yeah.
Again, my granddaughter is the model on the cover.
Wow, fantastic.
So what Playground of Destiny is in the past, I've had two published online photography books in Nigeria.
Oh,
Great country.
wow.
I seem to do very well with Nigeria lately.
Wow, that's great.
And my previous two poetry books are not self-published, published by Press. And with Playground of Destiny, I grew out from poetry many years ago from writing short stories. And then 3 years ago, I started photography. And just recently, I started painting. And then I've also been combining painting and photography. I call it paintography, which is a word. I looked it up on Google. Thought maybe I invented a new word. So as I've grown with the book Playground of Destiny, it's got a combination of everything. So it has poetry, it has short stories, it has photography, it has some of my paintings, and also has a 10-minute play that I produced.
Oh,
So I'm most proud of this book because it's everything I've combined in the last few years. So it's all there, basically, all my different styles.
well, that's great. And I love the description of that. Now, for readers like me who haven't read Playground of Destiny yet, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we're expected, picking up the book?
Okay. Again, you'll thumb through it. There'll be some poetry. It won't be total poetry. You'll read a couple poems, and you'll see a
Right.
photography piece, or you'll see one of my paintings, and then it'll go to a short story, and then back to poetry again. And if you
That's,
like, I can read one or two poems from the book for the readers and viewers of your show.
that's great. I also see that you're not only an author or a poet, and apart from being an author, you're also an artist. Could you tell us
Yes.
about your artistic works?
Yes. I have a friend a few years ago who was a very good friend, and she did pass away a few years ago as well, which I feel sorry about. But she is my and was my muse. Um,
Oh,
she always championed my poetry, my writing. And then one day we went out to lunch, and she talked to me about my paintings that I used to do in college. And she said, "Have you ever thought of photography? Since you probably have a good eye, since you used to be a painter." I said, "Well, I really haven't painted at all recently since college. It's like 40 years ago." So she said, "Well, I'll do a model. I'll be your model." So I took some photos of her and sent them out to magazines, and they were kind of published instantly. So then the bell went off in my head that let me do more of this photography. So I've been
okay.
doing photography for about 3 years, very successful.
Wow.
What I'm most proud of is I've been on 7 different writers' book covers with my photography.
Wow.
So I love Facebook. It's a great networking tool. And I just once in a while would put random photos up or artwork. And then people would contact me, international writers, saying, "How much do you charge? Or can I use your photo for my book cover?" And it's like, I'm not going to charge anything. I would be honored to be part of your creation. So that's what makes me the happiest about photography.
Wow, that's
Then
great.
people have also been writing poems. Same thing. I'll get random messages. "Hey, I wrote a poem for your photography." And I'll submit those as a collaboration, which I love. So out of photography, I went back to painting again.
Oh,
In college, I used to do realistic type paintings. They took forever. So now I do kind of abstract expressionist paintings and use them as a background for my photography. And I like to say I do them quick. I don't think I'm a talented painter. So the
wow.
paintings are hidden by my photography. So it's a
Oh,
good combination, and people really seem to like it. They get published, and same thing. People are writing poems for it. So I know there's definitely a need for it from me to help others, and I just love doing it now. So I've grown to that, and I believe my photography and paintography are actually doing a lot better than my writing. So unfortunately, I've been concentrating more on that. I'm still writing poems. I'm working on a short story right now, but I'm
wow.
concentrating on the art side right now.
Wow. I love the sound of that. I really love the sound of that. Now, Carl, I also want to ask you, do you have another book that you're currently working on? I'm not sure you have, but if yes, could we have a sneak of it?
I am not working on another book in my mind. I'm thinking of a book of short stories. I
Oh,
write a lot of flash fiction, 500 words or less. Most of my stories seem to be between 500 and 2,000 words. I
oh,
probably have enough for a book right now. So again, I'm going to work on that in the future. I'm currently working with an artist, a writer, Lesvaminda Gabato Rivera. She's from the Philippines.
oh,
She used 5 of my photos for her covers, and we're working on a book together where she's writing reverse poems, which are poems you can read from beginning to end, and then from the end up. It makes sense both ways. And she wrote to about 15 of my either art photography or photography pieces. So she is going to publish that book with my photos in it.
yes. I also want to ask you, what are the challenges that you've encountered while writing your book? If there is any, could you share with us and how you ultimately overcame it?
Yes. Biggest challenges for me are short stories.
Oh,
Poems, I can sit down, I can write it 5, 10 minutes. Most of my poems are short, philosophical. I
oh,
kind of have no problem writing a poem. Once in a while, I do use thesaurus to help with some words. And the great poet Sylvia Plath always said, "My thesaurus is always right next to me." Now we have it on computer, so it helps me with some words that might sound better than what I'm writing. So that's the only slight editing I do on poems, but short stories just seem to take forever. The hardest part of a short story is getting it done, and
yeah.
going back. I'm constantly editing it, looking at it, rereading it. They are very difficult. I do like them, but they are difficult. But the hardest challenge of a short story is the
Wow.
idea.
Yeah, that's
What
true.
do I write about? What subject? What's going on? And what
Absolutely.
helps me with that is I am a runner. So as I'm out running, I get ideas in my
Yeah.
head for either poems or short story. Unfortunately, when I get home, kind of forget about what it was.
Wow.
I go, wow, I had this great line, and oh, geez, what was it again? I mean,
Wow.
it's almost like, should I run with a microphone? But that's kind of weird. I don't carry anything when I run.
Wow.
But again, short stories, it's the idea. And I'm not a writer who can be forced to write. I champion people who can look at my photography and write a poem. You send me a picture, say, Carl, write about summer rain. And it's like, I
Oh,
can't do it. It's got to come to my head on
yeah.
its own. And sometimes I write a lot, and sometimes I'll go a month without writing. So that's a
Yeah,
challenge.
I love that. And I seem to understand much better because I feel that there are a lot of people, poems to me, like to me, very much are very easy than writing
Yes.
novels. I've been saying it over and over again to fellow writer friends that I love writing poem. It comes easily to me than sitting down, compiling a bunch of stories together.
Yes, definitely. And not to say writing poems is real easy, but it just, you're done with it. Once I'm done with it, very rarely do I go back and edit it.
Yeah,
But short stories, again, they're very, very difficult. Where that's why I like photography and art. It's boom, snap a picture and
yeah.
do a little adjustments and I'm done and I send it off. So
Absolutely. Now, great, Carl. I also want to have your opinion about this. I know it's something that I've been asking quite a lot of authors coming on the show. I want to have your opinion about criticism. How do you react to negative criticism of your book?
okay, that's a great question. I do love criticism. That's the only way you can get better. I have a story. I submitted a short story called Running in Sin. And the editor actually got back to me with an edited version. You know, he put his little marks on on the Word document how to improve it. That's never happened to me before. It's
Oh,
always it's accepted or it's not accepted or you don't hear from the journal. So this editor took the time to edit it. I reworked it. It did get published. So that editor, great. It's so nice to do that. That's rare that that happened. It only happened twice in my life where somebody took the time and said, I like it, but can you do these changes?
oh,
Only three times. Two times it got published. The third time I made changes and never heard from them again. But I used to be an editor for a magazine myself, so I've been on the other side of things. And I love when somebody takes the time just to make a comment, even, which is rare. I mean, how many times do we submit and half the time you don't even hear anything, or you just get a form rejection letter?
yeah.
Which all my submissions, it always seems to be the same, not a good fit. So I take criticism. That's the only way to be better. I love it, and that's the best thing to have as a writer.
Oh, that's great. I love your idea about that. Now, I also want to ask you, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? What are the challenges you've encountered in terms of marketing your book? And what are the mediums you've utilized so far in terms of promoting your book?
Okay. The hardest part of publishing for everybody who's going to do it for the first time is just finding a publisher.
Mm,
The beauty of internet is you can just send them out, send out queries, send out your book or parts of your book. Build a network. That's the most important thing. This book, Playground of Destiny, was actually done through a network where the publisher actually asked me for a look at it, which is great. You know, usually we got to find them. When somebody finds you, that's the ultimate.
mm,
So really just getting known, building a network, sending your work out, building kind of a buzz about it is the most important thing. The biggest challenge then after that is, of course, putting the book together.
yeah.
Inspired Press worked with me on the layout and everything like that. So I appreciated working with them. And what I did with the book is all the proceeds that I get, which is about $2 a copy, I am donating to the editor's charity. So I have no need in making any money in art, writing. That's not what I'm about. I can do that in the stock market. I'm a day trader in the stock market. That's my other hobby. So to me, personally, art should be free. Whenever I'm hung in a gallery, I've had some previous photos, I donate back to the gallery or to their charity. I really don't want money. That kind of ruins art for me. That's not what I'm into art for.
Oh, I love your idea about that. Sounds quite nice to me. Now, I also
Yes.
want to ask you, is there anything that you would love the viewers to know about your book that we haven't discussed in this interview and you just love the viewers to know?
Yes. The clicker in the book is there's a 10-minute play. It was published in a journal from India. And also, one of my friends on Facebook from Romania,
Mm,
Nicole Crate, actually surprised me one day with an email that had a video of her high school class. She's a teacher performing my 10-minute play, and that
wow.
really touched me. It was in Romanian, but I could see, how it was acted out.
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to get it in a local theater. I've tried unsuccessfully to put together with a theater, maybe 10-minute plays, because it is a 10-minute play. So that's my dream. It's just one of those things. If it doesn't get in a theater, it kind of sounds crazy, but I don't want to write another play. It's almost like this, I think, is good enough.
Mm.
Just so I'm going to continue to promote it. And if it does get into a theater somehow, I will continue to write more plays. I actually enjoyed writing it. As a writer, I usually write short stories with either minimal or a little bit of conversation.
Wow.
That's hard in a short story, putting conversation into it, and I do that. But the good writing experience is a play because you're 100% conversation to get your
Mm.
point across. So I challenge your viewers, if you've never written a play, a 10-minute play, it's 10 pages, give it a shot. It'll help you as a writer as well.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Actually, I want to ask you, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still struggling to publish in a book like yours? What do they tell people in this category?
Okay. Again, I believe in networking, and I believe in Facebook. I know Facebook, there's a
Sure,
lot of pictures of people dancing and
absolutely.
vacations and food, all that's fine. I use it as a networking tool. To me, it's a networking tool, pure and
Mm,
simple. All I put on my Facebook is art, writing, maybe my running. Once in a while, my granddaughter's pictures. But I've built a network. I've written an article on it that was recently published. How to build a network on Facebook.
mm,
Basically, just get friends who are writers, help them. To me, the most important thing is not me being published, but helping other writers get published.
mm.
So, like can I read your book? When you offered that, there's another woman I offered to read her book and helped her get published with Inspired Press as well.
That's
So
great.
reach out. That's the best part. We're not in competition with each other. We're here to help each other. And
Absolutely.
as a grandfather, it's almost like I want to be the grandfather of art and writing. I really like helping new people. And I like helping people outside America. I kind of specialize in Asian countries and Africa. These are people that are looking for advice, and I wish I could help them all, and I do
Mm,
as they come available. I'm looking for those opportunities. So, an example, the one lady I helped get published, she was working with Praxis, which is out of Nigeria, and she put together a photography book for me online. I didn't ask for it, but by me helping her, and that's not why I help. But sometimes, like I say, karma. You
yeah.
help somebody and you never know. It might come
Yeah.
back and help you as well. Also, get to know editors. Always thank an editor. When you submit, always use their name. Never just do a blank dear editor. I even, whether they accept me or not, I see if they're on Facebook and I send a friend request. So they may have rejected you then, but they'll see your Facebook postings down the road and see, if you're popular or not, or things are going on well, and
Mm.
they'll contact you. So again, build a network, look at small publishers, send your work out. Don't be sad if it's rejected.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. Always think how you had to mail it out, type it up, print it. How you could send it to 10 different editors like that with emails, cliche, but in the eyes of the beholder. 9 people will reject it. The 10th person's going to love it. So,
I so much love it, and I'm hoping that viewers, including myself, will love to utilize it. I also want to ask if you love to recite some poems from your book over there for the viewers. I'm pretty sure that'll be nice.
okay. Okay. I will do the first one. It's called Algor.
Okay.
Like a winter landscape, fearful of revealing what lies underneath. And I, 1 minute adrift from myself, opening up to you is as easy as breathing in the quest for completion of a new threshold. Poetry is a constructed conversation on the frontier of dreaming. I cannot help but freeze and scrutinize the ideological doctrine. So that's Al Gore. Here's one of my photos that goes with it.
Oh,
You can see
I can
that.
see from here. Yeah. Great.
And I'll read one more
Sure.
with the A as a title again, since these are alphabetical in the book. Abiding, waiting for your resurrection in the damaged allegory of utopia. Hope rejuvenates the anonymous of memories stored in another past. Anxiety or aching to return to the ordinary world
Wow.
is abiding. So most of my poems do tend to be philosophical. I'll just show you a photography piece.
Yeah, that's a nice one too.
And the woman by the
Oh,
plane is Jenny Link, the girl who did pass away and who did help me start in my photography journey. So
that's great. Could you bring up the book again and show it again to the camera, the front cover, so viewers could see very well, Playground of Destiny. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where you can get a copy directly on Amazon if you'd like to check it out. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That is on Amazon. It is $9.99. And what I like about it, I don't know if you can see, but it's a magazine, which surprised me when I got it. It is a magazine type book.
Yeah,
So I love the size of it.
yeah,
I was expecting a little pocketbook.
yeah.
And just to circle back to one of your questions, a good place to market your book is poetry readings. Get out there in poetry readings, bring your book with you. A lot of poetry readings let you sell the book on after the show or reading. So that's a good place to market it as well.
That's good because poetry reading is where you find people that love poetry.
Yes.
That's exciting. That's another one. Thanks for adding it to it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Carl, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
No, nice to meet you again. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate meeting you. You have a great country. Again, Nigeria. I have another showcase of my photography by a Nigerian publisher. So maybe I got to get over there. I'll stay at your house for a few days.
Oh, that'll be fine. That'll be
Okay.
exciting. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. And you have a great day and a good weekend.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start.